The global population continues to face many challenging situations daily. Climate change, financial losses, fear, anxiety, sickness, death. It may sometimes seem like this season of gloom will never end, and many are losing hope. The future may be daunting, but in the midst of your hopelessness, I can assure you that God, who is the creator of this world, still has the world in the palm of his hands, and for this reason, you can still have hope.
Oh, six months on that reflect me. I wanna be ready with Jesus God. Oh, far we know not the day. Only the Lord shall appear. But He said in His word, He's coming again. Don't you know that my heart is fixed? Oh, and my mind is made up. I wanna be ready when Jesus comes. Come on and sign me up. Sign me up. Oh, for the Christian to be. Oh, write my name. Oh, I'm on the road.
Well, welcome again to the recording studios of the Stonecrest Church of Christ. Uh, we are just as pleased as good punch each Wednesday evening uh, when we have an opportunity to open up the Word of God and share convictions about that Word with you. We've been looking at the strategy of Satan. I have shared with you on a number of these occasions, trying to, number one, debunk uh, the lie of a comedian that I grew up with by the name of Flip Wilson, who said that the devil made me do it. That is just bad theology. It's false teaching. And I've said to you that while we enjoyed Flip, his comedy, his weekly TV show and all of that stuff, we were just not biblically competent enough to debunk that false teaching. Because again, we were just kids growing up, and we thought if it's on TV, then of course it was right. Unfortunately, there are too many people still think that because it's on TV is right, because CNN says it, or Fox says it, or MSNBC says it, is right. But you have to be a little more discerning and discriminating than that. While the devil cannot make you do anything, you do need to know and understand and appreciate the notion that he's very strategic. He can actually influence you to think his thoughts, and then you claim them as yours. And so we've been trying to help you to understand and appreciate how that's done. You remember that on last week I put forth you the notion that if you were on a journey, whether you were in the military or not, we used the military metaphor on last week, but if you knew that from over here in McDonough, one of the suburbs of Atlanta, to downtown Atlanta, if you knew that there were landmines and bombs and traps and danger out there, and you were given a map to navigate around those dangerous areas, how often would you consult that map that inform you as to where all of the destruction and the danger, where all of those things were? And then I tried to share with you that you and I are on a journey, and Satan has set landmines for us. He set bombs for us. He set booby traps for us. He set explosives in our path on our journey. Since that is the case, how often do we consult God's word? How often do we read it? How often do we meditate on it? How often do we consult it to show us how our enemy operates? And what's a concern for me is that we don't consult it enough. We don't pay enough attention to our directional map that leads us from earth to glory. Jesus said in John 4:14 in verse 6, as he was about to journey back to glory, he tells his disciples, let not your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many dwelling places, many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you, I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. On that occasion, John says to him, Lord, we don't know the way, and how can we know the way? And Jesus says to him and to them and to us, I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life. No man cometh to the Father except he comes by me. Jesus says, I'm not a way to heaven. I am the way to heaven. But watch this. I have left you an instructional guide. I left you a book. I left you a roadmap. And if you would just follow me based upon the instruction and the directions that I have left you, it will not only navigate you around and away from the detours, the dead end, the dangers, the bombs, the traps that Satan has placed in all of our pathway. And so I've been trying to get you to understand something about the strategy of Satan. I have a graphic on the screen, a slide that says scouting report. We're in the playoff. We're in a week or so. Teams will be going to the Super Bowl because I'm recording this weeks before. I don't know what teams are going at this point, except I know that the Dallas Cowboys are not going, and that breaks my heart. But hope springs eternal. But whatever teams are playing in the Super Bowl, I can guarantee you there's one thing. Each team has a scouting report on the other team. And you need to know and understand that in football, baseball, basketball, whatever the sport is, these organizations spend millions of dollars a year sending their coaches, sending their scouts in order to look at the tendencies, the propensities, the habits of the team that they're going to play. You need to know, understand, and appreciate this fact, folks, that Satan has a scouting report on you. Even more raw than that, he has a contract out on you. And if he deem you worthy enough to be a threat to his kingdom, then he's going to try to do his devilish best to quell the threat that you are to him and to his kingdom. Well, somebody may be saying at home, well, Dr. Barclay, Satan, not bothering me. The only reason Satan is not bothering you, oh, you got it. Somebody wrote it in the chat. Because you're not bothering him. You're not a threat to him. Become a threat to him and watch how he reads the scouting report on you. And the demon assigned to you, just waiting. They're just waiting on the right time to set you up. Watch this. Your prayer life, oh my goodness gracious, your prayer life may be too strong for him right now. Your commitment to the kingdom, your stewardship of time, talent, and treasure may be too intimidating for him now. But guess what? He'll wait on you. I can show you in the Bible where he waited 40 years on folk. Waited 40 years on Moses. Never bothered Moses when he was in the desert. But after 40 years of being in that desert, he gets him because God had commissioned him to go back down to Egypt's land. Tell Pharaoh, let my people go. Moses was too strong for him. He literally been in the presence of God, literally had a conversation with him, too strong for him. But then he started leading people, and he led them for 40 years. And at the right moment, at the right time, Satan attacked him to the point God had told him, speak to the rock. And this time, he tapped the rock. First time around, spoke to the rock. Second time around, tapped the rock. Satan got him where he wanted. In fact, to the point where, watch this, he missed leading the people into the promised land. What I'm trying to say to you, friend, this man had literally had a conversation, eyeball to eyeball with God. You and I have never had that. Now we talk to God on a regular basis. I pray that we do, but we never had that experience that Moses had, to the point where his countenance was changed because he had been in the imminent presence of Almighty God. And Satan said, "No, you're too strong right now. I can't deal with you right now. My traps won't work on you right now." But as you keep reading his life story, he got it. And watch this. And may I say to you, every last one of us who have ever walked across the stage of human history, he's gotten us to. Because all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Now, watch this. But the fact that you have been duped by the devil does not mean you need to stay ignorant to his devices. Mama and them used to tell us, when you fall down, just get on back up, dust yourself off and get on back up. That's the same thing you need to do spiritually. But now watch this. The graphic that I have on the screen for you, it's called a scouting report. It's what teams going to the Super Bowl are doing. They are scouting their opponent, their habits, their personnel, their plays, their tendencies, their propensities, what they run on 3rd down and 10, what they run on 3rd down and 1, what they run on 3rd down and 5, what they run on 1st down and 10. All of that has been worked out, given to the coaches. And so you just need to know that Satan has that kind of information on you, and he has it on me. And when he does, he will set up a trap. He'll set up a landmine. He'll set up a situation, and he will wait on you. See, you and I don't have but an average of somewhere between 70 years or so. Now, there are folk who live more than 70 and 80 and 90 and even 100. But the average is about 75 right now in these United States of America. Now, friends, I want you to watch this. Satan has been here since the creation of the earth. He's seen the best that human history has to offer. And so he knows what he's doing, and he knows how to operate. Now, I want you to watch this. Ephesians 6 and verse 10 says, "Finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might." Oh, you may have missed that. Be strong in the Lord, and watch this, and in the strength of his might. Oh, my goodness. Let me try that again. Be strong in the Lord and in the strength, not of your might, but of his might. And then he says, put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against, watch this, depending on the translation you're reading. If you're reading the King James translation, it says the wiles of the devil. Translation, the English Standard Translation that I have on the screen for you says, against the schemes of the devil. Oh, you need to hear this. A Greek word there, methodia, from which we get an equivalent English word, methods. This is what you need to know, that Satan is methodical. He is not loosely organized in his attacks on you. He is structured. He is strategic. He is schematic. He is methodical of his attacks on you and I. This is why we have been called, watch this, to put on the armor. Oh my goodness. Armor is no good if you don't, you got it, unless you put it on. And it goes on to tell you, what the armor is in the next few verses, the helmet of salvation, the sword of the spirit, the shoes being shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness. In other words, put on that armor. Why does he tell you to put on the armor? Well, you put on armor because you're in a fight. You are in a battle. I showed you a slide last week that says, welcome to spiritual warfare. Come here. The devil is not playing with you. Now, too many of us are playing with him. I showed you last week, John 8:44. He's a liar. He doesn't just tell lies. He is. His nature, his character, his disposition is one of not telling the truth. He has not told you the truth about your family. He has not told you the truth about this country. He's not told you the truth about the insurrection occurring January the 6th. He has not told you the truth about the church, about salvation. Why? He's a liar. But we have the truth. And the truth is contained in the Word of God. Now, I want you to watch this. 2 Corinthians 2, 10 through 11 says, well, you need to hear this one, friend. To whom ye forgive anything, I forgive also. Paul talking to the church of Corinth. He says, for if I forgave anything, to whom I forgave it, for your sakes, forgave I it in the person of Christ. He said, the reason I did it, the reason I forgave you in the person of Christ, because, let me rewind this thing. Let me electric slide back and then come on up here. He said, the reason I did it, because watch it, if I don't forgive you, he said, Satan gets the advantage. I'm going to sit down on that one. He says, if you have an unforgiving spirit, Satan just got the advantage. He says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us. Watch this. For we are not ignorant of his devices. Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, that's so pregnant with truth. It gives birth even as I speak. He says, I forgave you because I know that if I don't forgive you with the forgiveness of Jesus Christ, Satan gets an advantage of a spirit that is unforgiving. Satan gets an advantage. He said, because watch this, we are not ignorant of his devices. Isn't that wonderful? You can know how this rascal operates. You can know how he operates. We are not ignorant, he says, of his devices. Now, if you look at the screen, you'll see something here about the strategy of Satan. Follow me carefully now. And we've been looking at this conversation from Genesis chapter 3, it's snake in paradise. I've said to you, and I want to emphasize again, that part of his strategy is that he uses something good to create something bad with negative consequences. Let me try it again. Watch this. Part of his strategy is this. He uses something good, that is, the snake, to create something bad with negative consequences. See, I shared with you a few weeks ago, the snake wasn't evil. God made the snake. He was one of the creatures that God had made. And I shared with you that Satan, of all of the beasts of the field, the one that was most crafty was snake. Snake, he wasn't bad. He wasn't sin. They're having a conversation with him. But I want you to watch something. Part of his strategy is he uses something good to create something bad with negative consequences. Genesis 31 says, now the serpent was more crafty than any beast of the field. But you also got to know that Genesis 1:25 says that God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after its kind. And God saw that it was good. Okay, you missed this. Watch this. All of the creatures out there God made, and God declared every creature he made was good. So watch this. Since every creature God made was good, had not been contaminated by sin, that snake was good. But you need to know how the devil operates. He uses something good to create something bad with negative consequence. Oh, Dr. B, you preaching that thing up in here tonight. I want you to watch this. Satan couldn't find anything bad to use because everything was good. Ooh, please say that again. Satan couldn't find anything bad to use because there wasn't anything bad in the creation. Everything God created was good. But part of his strategy is always to use something good to create something bad so it can have negative consequences. And watch this. Watch the other statement on the graphic. And the only thing that was bad was himself. But he's not going to show you him. Let me try that again. He's not going to show you him. Remember several weeks ago, I talked about the fact that the New Testament describes him in more than 25 different ways. And one of the ways it describes him is a dragon, a seven-headed dragon. It describes him as a snake that never closes his eyes. It describes him as a lion on the loose, on the prey. Look, we even describe him as dressed up in a red jumpsuit, long forky tail, pitchfork in his hand, long ears. He loves that because he knows that's not who he is. Watch this. The only thing that is bad is himself. So he uses a good snake that shares an attribute like himself which is craftiness. That's why he chose that creature, because it was most like himself. And watch this. It's clear. It was not an ugly creature. It was a personable, communicative kind of creature that Satan is using. Watch this. You need to hear this. Part of satanic strategy is disguise. A part of satanic strategy, oh my goodness, is for you to miss him or misidentify him with something that is good. If you look closely at the graphic on the screen, Satan operates like magicians operate. If you've never been to a magic show, do yourself a favor, find one in town, find one coming to town, and go there. You will be wowed. Oh, you'll be entertained, but you'll be wowed. you will, in fact, be amused, because the way magicians operate is by misdirection and distraction. If you just look carefully and closely at the graphic on the board, I want you to watch this, friend. In your head, in your brain, in your thinking, watch this. You know that no magician can levitate a person in midair. But watch this. When you go to these shows, you see the magician look like he has somebody suspended in midair. Now watch this. Your head knows, no, that ain't happening. But your eyes are looking at it. Now you're not looking at it actually happening. See, what he has done is place some mirrors somewhere, a table underneath her that you can't see, and he'll put that ring through her and act like he's trying to feel a table, and you don't see a table. You see a lady suspended in air. Well, it's called misdirection. He's strategized the stage in such a way to make you think you're actually seeing that, but he is misdirecting you, and the table is right there, and you never see it. Well, friend, that's the way he operates. He's a master at misdirection. He's a master at distraction. He does not want you to see, watch this, the reality of what he's doing in your life. On the screen now, you see a rat trap. Now, don't be trying to act like you've never seen one of those before. You may be bawling right now, but the reality is a whole lot of us grew up. And if you didn't have a cat in the house, you put out rat traps. And in order to catch the rat that was hiding in the wall, you put a trap inside the walls, near an opening in the wall, and you put some cheese there. Why do you put the cheese there? Because rats like cheese. Cheese is good. Rats like it. It's a delicacy for the rat. But what you're trying to do, you're trying to lure, you're trying to draw the rat to the trap, but you can't let the rat see the trap. You got to give the rat something that the rat thinks is good and the rat likes. Now, God says, you don't eat rats. You just don't want them stinking up your house. You don't want them littering up your house. But in order to catch him, you got to give him something that he likes in order to lure and to draw him to your trap. That's exactly what Satan does. He doesn't put anything bad in front of you. He puts something good in front of you. I tell you what, I don't have a minute or so left here. And what I'm going to show you next week is he will send you a platinum credit card. I didn't say gold. I didn't say silver. I said platinum. You didn't even ask for it. He sent it to you in the mail. Just for you being a good customer. We're going to platinize you. Watch this. Good. Fortunately, we don't carry around much cash these days, so we got to use these things. I'm going to show you. He takes something good, uses something good to create something bad with negative consequences. Before it's over, I'm going to show you where he even does it with religion. Gets you hooked on teaching, gets you hooked on churches. Watch this. Good. But then here comes negative consequences. Because Proverbs 14 says, I believe Proverbs 14:12. If it's not Proverbs 14:12, you may want to look at Proverbs 12:14. If you can't find it, Proverbs 14:12 or Proverbs 12:14, just read all of the book of Proverbs and you'll find it. And this is what it's going to say. There's a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. And what I'm trying to share with you in these messages is how you don't need to be blown up by the explosives of Satan and the traps of Satan, because we are not ignorant of his devices. I tell you what, come on and join us again next week as we will continue this trend of thought and thinking on the strategy of Satan and the lies that he tells. And lie number one is he wants you to think he does not exist, to the point where you miss him or you misidentify him. And I know we want you to be ignorant of his devices. And until then, may the Lord of the harvest bless you, and may he bless you real good.
Want to thank you, Lord.